Deputy, Chief Deputy?
Yes.
Well, he's the boss. Well, Chief, Sheriff's gone.
Tried to get me in trouble, Mark, already?
Everybody's working all day.
Well, somebody's got to be in charge.
Exactly.
So happens to be you.
So, how's it going?
Not too bad. Just keeping along, trying to build a new jail, and that's progressing pretty well. And dealing with some other, stuff, day-to-day stuff. And it's budget season, so that's always fun as well. So.
Oh, yeah. So now you got to do both.
Yeah.
Budget season with potential massive budget cuts.
It's never fun. I mean, there's always some doom and gloom going into it, but this year with the state budget, there's a lot of trickle-down funds that we're probably not going to see, in unfunded mandates that are going to cause us to have to tighten our belts a little bit and maybe reduce some of our services.
So that's to come, or still figure out, huh?
Well, I think they signed the budget, but I haven't heard what the effect it's going to have on the county. So.
Sheriffs and county attorneys all gathered in the cities last week, raising awareness of the 48-hour rule. I had no idea this was a deal prior to last week. Has this always been a law?
Well, yes, and they changed it here a couple years ago to say there used to be that within 48 hours of a commitment they had to be moved to a mental health facility. Now they changed it to 48 hours when a bed is available.
Oh.
So now they've ended up staying in their jail for substantial amounts of time. They're usually there for some minor criminal activity, and they have the civil commitment, and then it takes a long time. I think we had one that was almost a year. That was a couple years ago that it took they held in their jail because there wasn't space in the mental health facilities the state offers. So, and the county attorneys and the sheriffs went down there with jail administrators and some other administrative staff from sheriff's offices to raise awareness. I think that we need the legislators to know that there's a priority for mental health needs. And I think I've talked about it before here too, is that when someone's in a mental health crisis, the jail is not the place for them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that we have rules that we have to isolate them, and if they're actively suicidal, take away, a lot of their stuff. And I don't think that's a good environment to help them heal and move through their problems and work on them. So,
would you say the vast majority of these people are, I don't want to use a blanket term like I was ready to, the vast majority of these people are not necessarily a danger to others, but a danger to themselves?
That is correct. There are some of both, but the majority of them are just a danger to themselves.
Was a lot of time a med thing? Like they haven't? Or
and I'm not a doctor. I can't really say
Sure.
that, Mark. But it seems to be that once they are able to come up with a treatment plan, and a lot of times it includes medication, they're able to stabilize them.
Gotcha. Speaking of
The jail's the worst place to put someone like that.
Yeah, it is, but that's where they end up. So,
And speaking of jails, how's that coming along?
going pretty well. I think they have a lot of the concrete poured for it, and every time I drive by there's a new mound of dirt. There's new, concrete footings. I mean, it's progressing really fast, and I think we've had pretty decent weather, so they've been able to stay on schedule. I think by it's July or maybe a little bit later on, they're going to start bringing in the prefab walls, and then hopefully early fall we'll start moving some of the prefab cells into there. So
Wow.
moving pretty good.
That's all prefabbed, huh?
Yep, I think the majority of it is. There's cost savings for it, and it's a little
Sure.
more efficient. So
The cell part, didn't think of that. You could do that, right?
they say it's a lot cheaper to actually move them. They're built off site. I think they're built in South Dakota.
Huh.
They're shipped in, and then they're just moved into place, stacked on top of each other, and it's a lot cheaper and more efficient way to do it. So
Perfect.
I suppose in that way the Department of Corrections can stipulate what all needs to be there, and whoever's building it can just take care of it all at once.
Yep, it's built to their specs and their requirements for the time being. It's kind of seems to
I'm
be.
sure that's a moving target too.
It is. It's a moving target or bar. So you build for the time of what now is required, and then also you try to maybe build in a little bit of future of trying to anticipate what they're going to do. But with them, you can't anticipate, but you just have to deal with it. So
What sorts of technology will be in the new jail that was never even considered when the current one was built?
we actually have. I'm going to say the number, and I'm going to get it wrong. I think we have 23 cells for people that are either going through a detox or DTs or coming off of some drugs, where it will actually monitor their breathing rate, their heart rate,
Oh, wow.
and a lot of the physical stuff. So we'll know if they're in distress or that someone's having a medical emergency.
So are we talking beep, beep, beep like the emergency room, or?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen the technology. I've just seen it kind of at a high level. I haven't seen it in action, but I think there's monitors that would show alerts as well if there's someone in distress. And we're putting them in some of our transition cells and some of our mental health cells. So it's going to be a huge help for us. And we have to do checks still every 30 minutes. If they're on special watch, it's every 15 minutes. But it's going to give us a heads up if someone tries to hurt themselves or is in medical distress.
Sure. Wow. Didn't have that in the first jail.
That's pretty new technology. I think there's some in Itasca just built a new jail. They have some of that technology, and I think Carleton might as well. So it's kind of the trend moving forward. So we'll be fortunate to have that, and hopefully, provide better care for our inmates and make it easier for our staff.
It's not like the movie The Rock where they're throwing the rope over and
Right.
opening up all the jail cells at once.
Not anymore. It's most of it's controlled by electronics and electric locks and stuff like that. So it's all done from a central control, which isn't even in the blocks, and he's controlling all the movement and doors and all that stuff.
Is the current jail that way too?
Yes, we moved to that. They used to be like buttons and stuff, but I think and it was before my time as chief deputy. Quite a while before that, they moved to an electronic system to do it. So.
Well, in a jail, it wouldn't be a bad system. Are those cards that never work, like at the motel? Because it's jail, so.
Yeah, the hard thing about jails for security purposes, you don't want to have that stuff on your CO. So if someone was able to
Sure.
overtake them, so if it's done through an electric lock, someone out of that has no contact with the inmates, it's more secure.
Sure. We can't have badges. Jared, thank you for stopping by.
Okay.